Jim Palmer in the MASN broadcast booth. And Jim, does it look like when you see a Baldo pitch in the first or second inning that you can tell what kind of game he's going to have?
No. I'd like to have him come out, throw strike one, strike two, strike three. When you have an idea, when you're wild, you don't make quality pitches. You don't make them consistently enough, and you're always going to struggle. And that's really kind of what goes on. I mean, he can get guys out because he's all over the plate. He could be effectively wild, but that's not really pitching. And again, when you pitch that way, in this day and age, in our day and age, when you got to throw 130 to 150 pitches, you could be effectively wild and get people out because you stayed out there. You either missed away, you didn't miss in the middle of the plate. Tonight, early, the pitch count got inflated. Orioles came back, got him a 4-2 lead, and then, after the hanging breaking ball for a home run to left center to Tyler Collins, he hung a splitter, and for the second straight game, 3-run home run, and that beat the Orioles. Waxay would come back in the national game, but when you throw 3-run home runs late in the ball game, usually things aren't going to go well.
Jimmy, I heard your remark, a little sigh of relief when Crichton came in and threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And at that point, I started to say to myself, I said, our bullpen really just doesn't look like our bullpen anymore. How bad a shape are we in at this point, even for tomorrow's game?
Well, we got back in a little bit of shape, but Demper, you know as well as anybody for catching all the years that you caught. They get exhausted. If you're a power pitcher like Brad Brock or, a young guy really learning to pitch at the big leagues and Michael Givens, he's had such great success, but you got to realize, he's only been pitching for 3 or 4 years. So he's a power guy, high intensity guy. Looks like he's getting a little bit better last night. 3 walk the bases loaded, and then you're bringing Brock, who's overthrowing now because he's had a little bit of problems with getting guys out. It's tough to close. Every year I read early in the season, Demper, that anybody could close. 90% of the games are closed and all that. Well, blow a couple of saves and then try to do it. It's just not that easy. That's why, you miss Zach Britton. It kind of affects everybody. And, more innings, Donnie Hart had to go out because he's been exposed, very good against lefties, but you had to use him against righties. Didn't have a really good fastball against the lefters. They were hitting over 300. So he'll go down. Hopefully he'll get some fastball command. What I talked about during the game, what Flanagan taught Doug Johns one spring, the 2-seamer down and in. And they'll get a little bit better. They'll come back and help the Orioles. I'm still very impressed with Alec Asher, and even Castro tonight. He threw the ball over. He's going to have to learn. I don't know if his command is good enough to pitch here, but again, he threw nothing but strikes. Crichton threw nothing but strikes, and they gave the bullpen a night off.
Well, Jim, as always, we appreciate your comments. We'll look forward to chatting with you tomorrow afternoon when the Orioles play the Tigers starting at 1 o'clock in Detroit. Baseball Hall of Famer Jim Palmer there in the MASN broadcast booth.